Students, now let us look at the transportation cost modeling. Were the important costs? We talked about it, that there is a fixed cost, there is a variable cost, there is attributable cost and non-attributable cost. Now, how would we model it, or how would we get the minimizing cost function for our transportation? The pricing of a transportation service is done very similar to the pricing of any other manufacturing or assembly products. See, the total transportation cost is the sum of fixed, variable, and overhead cost. A certain profit margin, we need to remember it, that overhead costs and our variable cost would include the attributable and non-attributable costs as well. There are certain profit margins to be added to the total cost to determine the transportation rate. So for determining a transportation rate, we add some profit margin to it. Let us look at the general transportation cost model. The model would be, of course, specified as C total trans to be equal to C cap plus C op, where C total trans is the total transportation cost, which comprises of C capital, which is the capital cost, and C op, which is the operating cost. So there is a fixed cost and there is a variable cost, or the operating cost, including the overheads. So the capital cost and operating costs are defined as follows. हमारे पास capital cost में क्या हो सकता है? Capital cost is C fac plus C equipment, so factory cost plus the equipment cost, whereas C op is a combination of CFM plus CEM plus C trans plus C travel, C traf plus C gen. What does these abbreviations actually represent? CFAC is the facilities cost. C equip is the equipment cost. So CFAC is like factory or your facility cost. CFM is the facilities maintenance cost. CEM is the equipment maintenance cost. And C trans is the transportation cost. And C traf is the traffic cost. Traffic cost means when your vehicle is on transportation, the cost incurred in that trip, that might be some non-attributable cost included in that traffic cost as well. So transportation cost would be like fueling cost of your truck, but if you have to pay some toll for it, for your truck to move, or some unloading or loading in your truck during the passage, it would come in the traffic cost. And C-gen is the general cost associated with the transportation. And these are mostly the common costs. Now, under these specific heads, what we are looking at. The capital cost is actually the cost of providing initial plant and equipment and addition to it, to or betterment of those facilities. So you have your initial plant and equipment. When you improve it, or you add something to your facility, such as initial roads, constructions, railroad tracks, construction, port construction, this includes interest charges on the capital investment as well. So all of these things would be your capital cost. There is an operating cost, which is the remaining cost of providing transportation services. When you have the capital structure, you will operate it. So the cost when you incur on operating your transportation system would be the operating cost. There is a facilities cost as well. So investments in route structures and terminals. Remember that terminals or distribution centers which you develop for your transportation would also be included in the facilities cost. There is an equipment cost, which is the investment in the equipment, which is the vehicle in our case right now for the transportation. We have the facilities maintenance cost. This is the cost of maintaining roads and trucks, pavements and subgrades, rivers and harbors, channels and dams and pipelines and so on. This is the maintenance cost of your infrastructure. Remember that this is for the facilities. We also have a maintenance cost for our equipment. These are all the costs of maintaining motive powers and rolling stones such as cars, locomotive, trucks, and airplanes. There is a transportation cost as well. the cost of conducting transportation such as power and fuels, the wages of the vehicle crew, and the wages of those directing the vehicle movement. On a similar note, the traffic cost would be the cost of traffic solicitation. If there is like challan ho jate hain, it would be included in the traffic cost. The wages of highway safety officers, advertising, publishing rates, and tariffs and administration costs. Toll would be also included in it. There is a general cost. The general cost would be the general office expenses, legal advice, accounting, and the salaries of general staff and their officers and their staff. So students, we have seen the generic model for our transportation cost, and we have also seen the specific heads under which the transportation cost would be divided, and it gives a very comprehensive view of where to allocate the cost, in which subhead you will be putting the cost which is being incurred for your transportation. Thank you.